Faculty, administration, family and friends, alumni, the Western Governors University graduates, good morning, and congratulations to the class of 2021. In addition to honoring your new titles and degrees today, I have bestowed on myself a new title, Newest, Biggest Fan of WGU. When Dr. Baker-Stein and her team initially reached out to me as the commencement speaker, I asked about you. Like, who are your students? What are their stories? What is the WGU experience? So new to your university, I expected to hear about, a group of graduates in their early 20s, pretty green to adulthood, and preparing to start their first grown-up jobs. And some of you are exactly that, you young, fresh, beautiful things. But what I quickly learned is that most of you, as it turns out, are a group of night owls. 78% of you are women. 88% of you worked full-time during your studies. Your average age is upper 30s plus. And obviously the most senior WGU graduate today is 70. I said, wait, that's my people. They said, yes, this is why we've called you, dear. Now, had I been asked to speak to a group of 22-year-old graduates, I guess I could have. I do know a little about young adults. I have 5 kids between 15 and 23. They have given me a front row education to fascinating content like TikTok influencers and Bachelor in Paradise. And they are wearing mom jeans again, you guys. My 21-year-old daughter, Sydney, recently told me, we don't do matte faces anymore, Mom. Like, I have no idea what that even actually means. My 15-year-old is in driver's ed as we speak, so she is busy telling me how to drive all the time now, which is very helpful. I like stop sign critiques from freshmen. My 18-year-old Caleb bought a life-size cardboard cutout of Pamela Anderson last month, and my sons use it every single day to terrorize me. Pam has been in my closet, hiding in the shower, standing by the side of my bed while I sleep. I mean, it's just a real party at my house. So I love them, and I am working hard to launch them so they won't move back. But they are young. The oldest 2 went to a traditional college that I paid for, lived in dorms and apartments I subsidized, and were super stressed because their roommates kept eating their lean cuisines. Matthew McConaughey teaches a course at my daughter's college, and there is a sleep room on campus. So I'm super into my kids, but they're pretty soft. Now, WGU graduate, I'm gonna imagine an ordinary day in your life as you've earned your degree, and tell me if I'm anywhere close, okay? Let's see. You get up at the crack of dawn because not only do you have a full-time grown person job, but people live in your house and you're in charge of them. The people need dressed and fed and bribed out the door every morning. So somehow, in addition to working and going to school, you must also remember their field trip permission slip, their scholastic book order, and that they need to wear purple on Friday. Also, your first grader needs to make an elaborate Valentine's Day box by tomorrow, right? Plus 24 individual Valentines for classmates. So it will only take your 6-year-old like 79 hours to write that many names. So you shove a power bar into their hands while your kid explains to you that Noah's mom makes him pancakes every morning. And you gently suggest he petition Noah's mom for homestead then, right? Kids are just a delight. So having delivered your people to school, you zip to your whole job that you already have, a whole person's real job, with deadlines and tasks and that one coworker who takes credit for all your ideas. So here you spend the next 8 hours doing a job you either love or hate, and your coworkers are either cheering you on in your studies, like, yay, you're gonna get promoted, or they have no idea that you are getting a degree for an entirely different career, because you kept that under wraps until you peace out next week, right? So at the end of your workday, as you are racing home, you catalog what is in your fridge because the people will be hungry. What can you get on the table in under 20 minutes so you have time to get to soccer practice before you pick up your other kid from tutoring, right? You know what you have? Chick-fil-A. Thank you, Chick-fil-A, for your service. As you engage your second job, which is called driving people places, you wonder if you'll ever drive a clean car again. Will there ever not be papers and your assignments and trash and French fry remnants just everywhere? Will anyone ever clean this car? Well, you know what? It won't be you, because you have about 6 spare minutes a week and you will be using it to power nap. So after you get everyone home and survive the gauntlet of baths, bedtime stories, meltdowns, signing the reading minutes, packing lunches for tomorrow, putting wayward kids back into bed, and getting backpacks ready, you finally get to, what else? Do schoolwork. I know you've seen it come and go so many times. 1 a.m., 2 a.m., 3 a.m. You ground it out. You dug as deep as you ever have, and you managed to do the work of 5 people the last couple of years. You slogged and pushed and worked on weekends and late nights and lunch breaks and vacations, and you did it. You did it. You earned your certification. You earned your bachelor's. You earned your master's. You finished what you started, and it is absolutely incredible. I'm so proud of you, and I want to tell you 3 things. Here's the first one. Trust yourself, because you know what you want more than you've ever known what you want. You know, I went to college 1 week after my 18th birthday. I had never even had an original thought. I didn't have a real sense of who I was or what I loved or what I might be good at. I came from teachers, so I became one. I taught 4th grade for a few years and 1st grade for 1, in which I realized I might not be cut out for little kids. When I wrote my name on the board on the first day of school and a little boy raised his hand and said, "Miss, we don't know how to read." Okay. So like many of you, I took a hard right turn in my 30s and started a whole different career. I kind of just wondered out loud, can a normal person make a living as a writer? Now, mind you, not one living human was asking me to become a writer. I had no mentor suggesting the world needed my special brand of brilliance. I didn't even have a computer. What I did have was 3 kids, 5 and under, dial-up internet, and a pretty horrible command of the English language. In fact, my greatest fear actually is that somebody will read one of my first books, and I actually forbid you to Google them, okay? But unlike you, I wasn't qualified and obtained no credentials, so gold star for you. But my point is this: I know what it is like to reimagine what you want after you've lived some life. Because you've taken some knocks, you've had some false starts, some spectacular failures, and you've learned what you don't want as much as what you do. You have a mature sense of yourself, more so than if you had gone to, like, say, prom last year, for example. You're grown. You have never been clearer to you than now. You can trust every instinct that brought you here. Your own wise inner voice said, "This is who I am, this is what I'm good at, this is what I have to offer the world, and this is my path forward." And you took it because you are your own best advisor. So remember your own knowing as you go forth. Because the only people that start at the top are the Kardashians, right? Building your new career might be slower or harder than expected, or your people might panic a wee bit as you set out anew, and you might be tempted to doubt your own North Star. But you know what you want more than you've ever known. And of all the people on earth, the person you can trust the most is yourself. So believe the you that brought you this far. You are in the right place at just the right time. Second thing, you've set a glorious example, and don't ever get it backwards. I know most of you juggled school with work, family and grown adult responsibilities, probably without exception. That meant you missed some games. You ordered pizza for your kids 20 million times the last 2 years. You were bent over your laptop and books at the dining room table while the family buzzed around you. Probably meant that more than once, you laid in bed at night worrying if you were being selfish for going to college in the middle of real life. And because nighttime brain is the worst brain, you probably compared yourself to some other parent or adult who seemed to be nailing it all. There were probably tears and a few ill-timed meltdowns and misplaced fatigue that turned into a dumb argument with your partner or your kid or your mom. At least once, you had to have said, "Why on earth am I doing this?" One of your evaluators sent back an assessment with a mastery not demonstrated note, and you almost threw in the towel. You might have bought into the lie that you could be a good mom, or a good student, or a good partner, but not all. I'm the oldest of 4 kids, and my mom went back to college for a bachelor's and master's combo when I was in high school, my sister was in middle school, and the 2 youngest were in elementary. She was still working full-time, and because Chick-fil-A was only inside malls back then, we ate sandwiches for 2 years. My dad started doing the laundry. We had to pare down our activities because we just didn't have enough drivers. And my mom wouldn't buy me Guess jeans because we didn't have any extra money. Also, to be fair, she wouldn't buy me Guess jeans because she said she'd book a one-way ticket to communist Russia before spending $50 on a pair of pants for a 9th grader. So for those of you younger than me, Russia played very prominently in the 80s childhood. But I'll tell you what I mainly remember, what I told other people, and my primary takeaway from those 2 years. It wasn't that mom was busy. It wasn't that she spent her free time making note cards and studying. It wasn't even that she was gone 3 nights a week. It was this. My mom raised 4 kids, ran a happy home, and got 2 degrees at the same time. What did your mom do? My mom didn't bum me out. She was my role model. I was so proud that my mom was smart and ambitious enough to pull that off with 4 obnoxious kids at home. Her going back to school was always a source of great pride for me and still is. So, don't waste 1 second feeling guilty about choosing your degree and career at this stage in your life. You have shown your spouses and your children what it means to dream, to take a risk, to chase something new and exciting and absolutely go for it. You've set a gorgeous example of hard work. You have shown all the watching eyes what is possible, what makes you come to life. I'm telling you, your people will tell your story with pride. Your children will never imagine that they should shrink so others can remain large, because you didn't. So well done, moms and dads. Well done, aunts and uncles and grandmas and grandpas and big brothers and sisters. You've set a glorious example, and don't ever get it backwards. Finally, number 3. If you could pull this off, you can do anything. Sincerely. This was hard. I know it was. Of course it was. You had to choose diligence 100 times a week to get here. Almost none of you had the luxury to do school and school alone. You piled a degree on top of an already steep mountain of work and responsibilities and real life and a global pandemic. And through grit and tenacity, you made it here. So if at any point you told yourself you couldn't finish, let today remind you that you can and you did. If you ever told yourself it was all just too much, let today remind you that you found a way to succeed. If a subject once seemed too complicated to master, that degree in your hand says you powered through to mastery. If someone said you were too old or too late or too disorganized or too busy to pull this off, well, this is your commencement ceremony, which is defined as the ceremony of conferring degrees and granting diplomas. So apparently, you were none of those things. You did it. You learned it, you managed it, you balanced it, you practiced it, you finished it, and you slayed it. Now tell me, what can't you do? You just beta tested your own capacity, and guess what? The product is ready to be released into the world. Your strength has been tested and tried, and it passed the gauntlet. You now know what you are capable of. You can figure out what needs to be figured out. You can execute what needs to be executed. You can rise to whatever the occasion calls for. You can handle more than you thought, and you can finish what you started. Obviously, life is hard, and things will go sideways, and obstacles will surely arise, of course. But now you know you have the chops for it. You always did, by the way. So, it's time to let your special magic loose. You're ready. The world is ready for you. So go do what it is that only you can do in only the way you can do it. No one can duplicate your voice, your experience, and your wonderful combination of gifts. People will dazzle you and disappoint you, but practice loving them anyway. Let about 83% of everything go from here on out. The other 17% will keep you busy enough. So shine your light and raise your lantern high so all those watching can see where you stepped. So, trust yourself. You've set a glorious example, and you really can do anything from here. We are cheering you on. So congratulations, outstanding class of 2021. We cannot wait to watch you succeed.